Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about Nick Diaz wanting a fight as soon as possible, and he's dropping names like Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. He specifically said he's good with John Jones, which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, let's get into this. So Nick's last fight didn't go so well for him. In my honest opinion, Nick Diaz looked like he lost a step. He looked considerably slower. He didn't seem too into the fight, like just his head wasn't there. Of course, he fought against Robbie Lawler, rematched him. But let me talk about some positives. So even though Nick Diaz didn't look necessarily sharp or like his prime self, man, I gotta say his boxing looked good. Just because you don't have the speed and reaction time, even him looking a little bit off, his boxing still looked good, man. He was throwing awesome combinations, great body shots. The way he was sneaking those in there was amazing. You can just like clearly see how skilled Nick Diaz is. For the younger crowd and those of you guys that are kind of new to the sport, listen, Nick Diaz was a terror. When Nick was at his peak and prime, super dangerous fighter. I mean, game. Could beat anybody on any given night. Total badass. Great boxing and striking. Absolute granite chin. Super tough. Unmatched cardio, super dangerous jiu-jitsu, very technical on the ground, just a monster again. He had a hell of a run. He's won several belts from different organizations. He's beaten a who's who. He's competed against a who's who. He didn't win every big fight, but even in his losses, he had a great account of himself. Nick Diaz is the man. The Diaz brothers in general are just revered, even with losses on their records like that. And they're revered for a reason. Records don't tell the full story. Both highly skilled guys. But going back to Nick was away from the sport for a long time. I mean, there was a big chunk of his career taken away from like the drug test thing. I feel like he got a little bit screwed over, but rules are rules. I mean, he got busted at the time. Very, very harsh sentencing. Big fines. I think like $100,000 and up. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. It was nuts. So yeah, he spent prime years of his career away. I think the big gap was after the Anderson Silva fight. I've heard Nick over the years on many occasions talk about how he doesn't really like fighting. It's what he's good at. It's almost like a curse and a burden. The one thing that you're super good at, you dislike. He doesn't like hurting people. Which is funny because he looks so stone cold in a cage. But in his last fight with Robbie Lawler, I mean, it was pretty evident there was a lot of ring rust. I think there was an injury there going in. Because leading up to the rematch, Nick looked in phenomenal shape. And like the fans were a little bit upset like we got catfished. Because when Nick stepped into the cage with Robbie, he looked out of shape, you know? I'm not even sure if he made weight. I think that was a catchweight fight. But he just didn't look into it, and that's not the Nick Diaz that we know and love. Can Nick come anywhere close to prime? Can he get back in shape like that? I think he could make vast improvements. Maybe he can't come back as like prime Nick Diaz, but he can come back close enough, or maybe he'll have competitive fights. Against Adesanya and Pereira, no. Please no, don't do that to Nick Diaz. Give him more competitive fights for the level he's at right now. Then take it from there. This is just like a general rant. It's like, look, these guys are grown men. They can do what they want. But stop feeding these aging legends to up-and-comers and killers who are going to use them as like a stepping stone. I hate to see it. And not to say that Adesanya and Pereira are newcomers like that. I'm just saying in general. Give the OG legends that still want to compete fair fights. And if they crush guys at their level, increase the competition level for them. See where they're at. Nick has a big name. Maybe based on that, he'll get a higher profile fight. But skill-wise, fighting ability from the last fight we saw, he definitely shouldn't fight a top contender. Give him like fringe. When I say fringe, I mean fringe top 10, even better, somebody out of the top 10, like rank 13, 14, 15. See where he's at, see how he does. If he wins in impressive fashion and seems like he's still levels above, then like I said, bump up the competition. Take care of these legends. Take care of these superstars that helped build the UFC and the sport. Give them fair fights, nice paydays. That's what I want to see. Nick seems to like have that fire back. Maybe he's all set with injuries. Maybe he has like this rekindled motivation. That's cool. I would love to see it with a proper opponent. No Hamzats, no Pereiras, no Adesanyas. That's too much for him right now. But guys, let me know in the comment section who would be a good opponent for Nick Diaz. Pretty clear that he wants to come back at 185. Would love to read your picks for an opponent. Would you be excited to see a motivated Nick Diaz back in shape? I know I would. Thanks for watching this segment, guys. I'll catch you all on the next one. Take care.